matriarchs across the land and stationed the chiefs. They already put the chiefs on notice to cleanse the land. And what that means is that it is our job to reestablish government, which takes us to Noble Drew Ali immediately. Because one of the things that he say in the oral statements and prophecies, for those who don't understand Noble Drew Ali won't understand what he's talking about. But he said that he would leave these people in power long enough for us, the organic people of the land, to learn how to run government. So when he declared that we was Moorish nationals, there was an agenda attached to it, a legal maneuver to navigate a contract. Now, Ty's been telling us for years how to navigate this contract so we're not victimized by it. And he's been reiterating the same thing. These people is a de facto corporate entity acting in a legal capacity as if they are the de jure or the rightful owners and lawmakers of the land. They are not. So who are these people? Where the hell did they come from? Right? And who do they represent? So when I trace back, another thing Noble Drew Ali said is, I need for you to get a good Moorish education. Moorish education is not restricted to Moorish science doctrine, nor the dogmas attached. The doctrine of Moorish science traces all the way back to Rome. And we understood that, and we've seen different things transpire over the course of time, but most of us don't watch what we call the long game, right? So we in a 6,000 year lunar cycle of the 4 cycles in the age, right? So it's a 24,000 year galactic clock. And it is the 2 lunar cycles, moon cycles, and there's 2 sun cycles, and they each separate one from the other. They alternate like fan blades. Now, the reference in understanding the time is Charles Mosley Bay's Clock of Destiny. Because if you don't understand the Clock of Destiny, then it doesn't make sense the alignments of the stellar arrangements, nor their effect on Earth. So then that takes us to the metaphysics of Moorish science, which takes us to C. Freeman Eel, who thoroughly broke down the Masonic secrets behind Moorish science in the Moorish science that was withheld in the Masonic secrets, right? So along comes Hakeem Bey to explain to us the tribal connection between the ones we call the righteous Moors, which will by default expose the ones that we call the dirty Moors. We call them dirty Moors because they pretend to be with us, but their allegiance is to some other entity not from Earth. In that allegiance, they have sworn war against us until the close of the age, what they call the end of time. The end of time is the close of the age. This is now. We going into the Aquarian age of knowing. That means that the secrets now have to be exposed to the public in a fashion that the public can assimilate who it is doing the dirt, where they at, and how to get rid of the motherfuckers. So they came in as Spanish conquistadors with Christopher Columbus, but they preceded him and they sent scout ships over here 100 years prior to Columbus. References, they came before Columbus, edited by Ivan Van Sertima. So once they got over here, the elders who left the tradition in the South America specifically said, we didn't see any ships. Now that's blatantly sticks out to me as an open secret because we were a seafaring people who sent Algonquins to fight in the Iberian Peninsula against these same motherfuckers and aided them in ridding the land of these same rogue elements that was using adrenochrome, bloodletting rituals from Babylonian blood magic. They was using Babylonian money magic, and they were using Babylonian sex magic as the tools of conquest in order to subjugate a people. They turned the boys into effeminates. metrosexuals in order to make them not resistant to the rule of a foreign entity, and they not as apt to protect the women if they are not divine masculine, right? So now in comes the Masonic Lodge under Prince Hall, the Blue Lodge on the fatherland. We understand what Prince Hall and Absalom Jones was doing when they were digging up the Masonic secrets as a apprentice under a under a York Rite Masonic Lodge, who wouldn't give him a charter. So he went to England and got a charter from the Scottish Rite in order to institute his knowledge of the York Rite over here. So he had to go to the other lodge, what they call the Great Grand Lodge in England, and get the charter, right? Well, that was not a charter from us. It wasn't until Malachi York went to Cairo, Egypt, to the original adepts to recover the Masonic charter from Cairo directly, which bypassed all European organizations that was infiltrated. In the process of doing this, he uncovered a sacred record that he called the Sacred Record of the United Nubian Nation of Moors. And in there, he goes into lectures in the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, in the ancient Egyptian order, and in the Sufi order of the Green Light, as to explaining that these people came over here to usurp us, to undermine us and to replace us. They gave us the Bible because the Bible is their contract, but it's a spiritual contract and a conjure book and a grimoire, and it's also a riddle. So you have to decode the Bible in order to unlock the code of the Christ secret. So we talking 33 BC, 33 AD is the time frame. It's a 66-year time frame to find 122 degrees on Mount Calvary in order to get to the exact date in September in which the so-called crucifixion supposed to took place, as opposed to what we call Easter, which is the ceremonial worship of the mother as Ashtar or Ishtar, the great mother, who is the guardian of children, right? So then the rabbit being the patriarchal symbol of a virile male, right? So the rabbit was a man the whole time. And the rabbit had the gun, but he ain't know what to do with it, right? So he got sacked by the wolf. So the wolf caught the rabbit, took the gun, and then the hawk had to come recover the rabbit from the wolf. These are metaphors in the Masonic Lodge. The wolf is called She-Ra. She was the one who nursed Romulus and Remus, and these are the founding fathers of Rome. Whereas Remus, the one became Rome, was the warrior, and Romulus, who became the conscience or the intelligence, became the scholar, which tells us in this land that they came over and they used scholastics, right, and warfare in order to subjugate us, which takes us to the Gulla Wars that they call Seminole Wars. Now, you know who dictating what took place in the wars by what they call the war. So when we call them Gulla Wars, we know that all of the tribes from as far away as the Polynesian Islands, south, west, as far north as Alaska and the Eskimos, the Inuits, all sent soldiers, warriors to fight in Florida in what we call the Gulla Wars. This is how the French, right, under Adam Weishaupt, using the Louisiana Purchase, and they were able to then do a survey on the land, what they call Lewis and Clark's expedition. As they surveyed the land, they found all our castles empty and said, there's no royalty here. This land is abandoned. But they don't know our culture like we do, because if my soldiers is going to war, I'm standing in the army with them. I'm not sending the motherfucker to fight in anything that I'm not willing to fight in myself. Right? So once these wars begin to take place, Lewis and Clark declared the land empty because they went as far west as Washington State. Right? And the translator we know as a blackamoor by the name of Ben Bay. Ben Bay is Benjamin Banneker.
Right.
Benjamin Banneker is credited with the design of Washington, D.C., which is massive sigils that's used for conjure purpose, and we call that the city of D.C. Right?
Right.
So once they established that, they moved our capital because our capital was originally Philadelphia. Right? Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love, but it's also the Delphi oracles was central there. So they telling us that the oracles of Delphi was from Greece. That's because Greece was a Hellenistic culture under Helen as a woman. But Rome was a Hellenistic culture, but they turned Helen into a man. This is what they call beheading the god, or when they take Medusa's head. Right? So taking Medusa's head is them switching the gods out. That's an Anunnaki war tactic. So they use changing of the names. So when Enki named his son Seth, then Enlil named his son Sethian. Right? Just so he can say that they different people and he can try to switch places with them in retrospect. Right? So from there, we get into the 1900s and we get into us trying to restore our people. And we got all of these other people that's fighting for power to never let us know who he is. And that's what they call the Masonic Secret. So I'm going to stop right there for questions.
Well, first of all, I know I started the live a little bit off center, but I appreciate everybody still keeping up with us because I'm learning how to use StreamYard. However, I missed the introduction on the live, so I'm Sunny L, Sunny Moon L, Mother Tweeties here. And for the record, we're not coming in as the adepts. And again, this is the adepts chamber, so the people that come and join us and school us and make sure that we're on point are the adepts, just to make that clear. But I do want to just make that public for the record, on the record. And other than that, yes, we're on with you. My thing was, as far as the conquistadors, we know who they were before. Who are the conquistadors now, and what do these organizations like? Is it the Greek letter organizations? Is it the Divine Nine? Like, who are these people? Are they the imposter Moors, the dirty Moors?
Okay,
or what?
Let me answer that. So, where are these people now? They look like us. They masquerade as our leadership in the community, but they always working against us. They've infiltrated every secret society, every alphabet organization. They stronghold paramilitary organization is known as the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, but everybody think that's a pale-skinned organization. Look at the symbols, right? When you look at the symbols, their symbol is the black fist. That doesn't make sense. Okay, they are working as the paramilitary branch. They the same ones you'll find in all of the celebrities' FBI files issuing death threats and extortion plots in order to take the wealth from our celebrities. So you find them in Tupac file, Biggie file, you find them in Michael Jackson file, you find them in Prince file, you find them in some of the non-melanated celebrities like, what's my man name? Robin Williams, who they said committed suicide, but that was a flat out murder. They call them star whackers in Hollywood. This is in the protection from them in Hollywood before the Nation of Islam got out there was a group that we call Scientologists. The Scientologists was diffusing the situation because they couldn't get to the wealth of the actors because of the structure of Scientology. So that's why all of the celebrities start running the L. Ron Hubbard Scientology, right? So when we started to become instrumental in movies and music in the Hollywood, then the Nation of Islam's FOI have to come in because they're the only ones who know how to defend us from this enemy. They were trained. The what?
Haven't they joined Scientology as well?
Well, that's a military strategy. Okay. So you got the people that's protecting the Europeans in Hollywood, Scientologists, bump into these dudes that's protecting us in Hollywood called FOI. They both performing the same function for two different groups against the same enemy. The Art of War say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it's only natural that they have to end up creating some kind of alliance because they still fighting the dirty Moors. That's why L. Ron Hubbard moved onto a boat so he wouldn't be under their jurisdiction on the land because they flipped the land jurisdiction to the water. They don't have any jurisdiction on the land. They flipped the water jurisdiction on the land. That's called admiralty law. The admiralty and maritime law is codified and controlled by the Uniform Commercial Code. The Uniform Commercial Code is what they call the International Law of Nations. The International Law of Nations governs international corporate jurisdictional law. So when you become a national, you become a straw man in your nation. As a straw man, you are a dead entity, a legal fiction. You don't really exist. So therefore, whatever they do to you is only a fiction and they can't suffer a consequence. It's not true. They doing this to you because you allowing them to do it to you because you don't know what they doing. That's an adhesion contract that they have you under that you don't know you signing. When they say nationality is the order of the day, it expired July the 4th, 2019. Because using the nationality system under Noble Drew Ali's original format, you was able to navigate and live your life without ever being affected by these people being on the land. But when we start fighting to be part of their system, we abandon our system. We abandon Elijah Muhammad. We abandon Noble Drew Ali. We abandoned Marcus Garvey. We abandoned Booker T. Washington. We abandoned W.E.B. Du Bois. How are we going to get out of this condition? Right? So what we end up doing was all of the chiefs just put their part in the public domain until one of us can figure out how to put all of the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can exile the imposters. In New Jersey, they are known as the Moorish Zionist Jews. And they are called blackamoors by the Moorish title. They look like us, but they not us. If you look up the picture of Noble Drew Ali in Chicago in front of the temple, then you look up the picture of them in front of their temple, they are mimicking, but they're giving signs in the pictures. But nobody knows how to read the signs because everybody is caught in the dogma that they can't get to the science part. This is why C. Freeman Ill's information is critical to the understanding of more science, because he teach you how to read the symbols. And you go back to the Q drop and it said, what's going to be their undoing? The symbols. The symbols is going to expose them, right? Which takes us to the flag. Well, the flag that they flying in the Moorish Science Temple today with the 5-point star has been a Moorish Science Temple flag longer than it's been a Moroccan state flag. Make that shit make sense. They copying Moorish science and Noble Drew Ali in order to perpetuate their dogmatic pursuits and oppression. We not buying it, we done with it, and it don't work no more. So the women's consulate of Moors have been keeping the secret among themselves as to how Noble Drew Ali got infiltrated. Because don't nobody want to tell the story about the muftis. the muftis that gave him up to Rome, as they call it. Of course they did. They was fucking Romans. They was Etruscan Moors. Before they was called Moors, when they went into Europe after they got kicked out of Africa, they was called Truskians. When they invaded from in the Iberian Peninsula of Europe, when they came in from the southeast, they came in as the Byzantine kings of the Ottoman Empire. This is where we get the term Els, Bays, and Days in the Moorish Science Temple, because you tagging the motherfuckers doing the dirt. Right? So now we get to George Washington and the 200-year challenge in order to develop a ceasefire. The ceasefire was a settlement that was written up as the Paris Accord. We know it today as the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. It wasn't even signed on this land, so therefore any enforcement on this land is in a direct contradiction to the law of the land, which goes back to the native woman who put the Pope on notice, and she had to tell him that the chiefs are now active on the land and that these motherfuckers is running out of time, they got to go, right? And all of the time they've been telling us that white supremacy was about your skin color. It was about being a free white person in law. When you look it up in Black Law Dictionary under free white person in law, clear as day it say Moors. Clear as day. So the whole thing was a chess game between adepts. The ones who were here were on defense, so they take up the banner or the moniker of black.
Question. So what do you think of us, because we call ourselves American Indians?
Indian is not our term. It's the same as the Moor. They thrusted names on us, like I explained to the sister about Seminole. When we say they talking about Seminole Wars, they telling it from the Europeans' perspective, from the conquistadors, the French and the English that we fought. But when you say Gulla Wars, you telling it from our people's history, perspective, and angle, and we don't tell the same story exactly the same. Their story is that we was runaway slaves and we congregated with the natives made the strong fighting force in Florida. Our position in the Gulla Wars is we ain't slaves, we ain't finna be your slave, and we'll fight your motherfucking ass until the end of the earth. So this is the difference in how the stories is being told between our elders and the people that came. The people that came want to hold on to the narrative and make us assume the position as a national free white person in law, because that's the big I concept of the Etruscan doctrine. Okay. We don't believe in that.
So, well, we go by nations. So, does it still say we're not who we are when we say that we Blackfoot, we're Saponi, Calabar, Choctaw?
When you use those tribal designations like that, Choctaw, the Dungamonja, Washita, Cherokee is also a term that they thrust up on us. Right? It's not the original name. The name Cherokee was specifically created to produce some people that we call reservation invaders, $5 Indians. This is who they was making their contracts with under the pretense that they was making the contracts with us. But when you go to all our elders, they say we never signed treaties with them people. Our people never signed treaties with them. So who in the fuck is this signing the treaties? It's the servants they brought because they fought wars against the Mongols and the Huns. Look at the people when it testify of itself. They fought wars with the Mongols, the Huns, and what we call as the Aryans or Arya-Vedic peoples, what we call Hindus. These people became the servants of the Moors in Europe. As prisoners of war, they became part of the bounty that they won. And these were their servants, or as they call them, they pets. And Mama said that nobody should be thrown away like trash. You can't make other human beings your pets. I agree. So when they was telling us the slave stories, what they was leaving out parts is that the big house is Big Mama house. Big Mama always had a big house because she always had a lot of her grandkids, great grandkids, nieces and nephews all living at the house. When they turned our family dwellings into POW,
Want to manifest. We bring that beautiful celestial light. We bring our archangels. We bring, and we address these things, and address what need to be done. So, and if anybody got any healing, if further healing they need to do, or things that need to be justice service on certain things, or whatever,
what city y'all gonna be in?
We do this online on Zoom. I send the link out to everybody so they can
Okay.
request the link from me. I probably wasn't clear on that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Request the link from me, or I may ask them to please, if I'm too busy or something at that time, I just direct them where they could go and get the link for the 8th and also for the instruction. And I teach womb yoga most Sundays. And we had a beautiful dance class last Saturday. Sister Ayana, she did this free form, beautiful spiritual, intuitive movement class. It was just beautiful, and the sisters got to express at the end. So it's really a beautiful forum for us, and I invite sisters that do anything creatively. It could be raw food, it could be poetry, songwriting, whatever that is, allows us to express in our truest and highest forms. The class is open. Y'all got my Zoom. I paid the thing. That's what it's for. Y'all come in and do your thing. Teach a dance class, whatever it is. You got another type of form of yoga other than womb yoga, come and teach it. Because this is what helps the sisters get open and limber. So by the time the 8th comes, we gotta, get them shackles off and all that tension and all that stuff off of us. So we can really concentrate when it comes to the 8th. So anyway, that's basically what it is. I just wanted to hop on real quick.
Okay, so what? Tell them what your page is, so they come over there.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's thank you, Rod, because I just be running my mouth and be forgetting it. Important pieces. Starlily Birthing on IG, and y'all could also call me too, 978. I think the number is 999-2416. That's my Google number. And once you call me, I'll give you my direct line. You gonna take them, okay? But yeah, that's pretty much it. But we doing the work and we consistent, and that's what I love about. Because I'm just like, really, this is something that's have been passionate. I've been very passionate about. I told Brother Rod over 10 years ago, I was asserting this movement, like a global wellness movement for women, and it just wasn't the time. He had to be on deck in order for this to actually transpire. So I'm just giving thanks. I tried to, like I said, 10 years ago at the Dogon University with Mama, and it didn't take off not like how it's taking off now. So I'm really giving thanks.
Gotcha. Give me a minute, I'll be out there.
You're beautiful too, sis. Give thanks. Yeah, just hit me. Start Lily Birthing. All right, Brother Rod, you go ahead because I know you got a lot of stuff to cover. I'm still on though.
Well, I covered the part I wanted to, but I'm gonna take another caller in for the.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Peace, bro.
All right. So that's hey.
Hey King, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been trying to get in contact with you ever since I've been following you. Since I found you on I think it was Black Magic page.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been following you for a while, me and my husband. And I got this book, and I don't know if it's right, but I remember you saying something about we'll know if it's the right book if the author was from the Army or the Marines or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was just making sure that I was doing the right stuff. I'm in chapter 2, so I ain't got that far yet. I'm still practicing. But my question was for you. Okay. So I was the one that asked the question last night about the dream that I had, and it's Enlil or Inky. Was we here before they got here? And you were saying that we the hybrids, right? Okay, so I was a little confused about that because so who was the people here before they made the hybrids us?
We were Atlanteans. Our physical form was slightly different. Our bodies was longer, our arms was longer, and our legs was longer.
Okay. Okay.
That's they didn't fucked around and start throwing out some of them people down in Antarctica. You go see what they looked at, what we used to look like. Our color wasn't brown, and we was blues and greens.
Okay, like the Avatar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that movie is actually a documentary about Earth.
Yeah, it come out on my son's birthday, December 16th. So I'm definitely looking forward to go watch that. So I had a dream. Because I know you said I gotta elaborate on it. Okay, so my whole family think I'm crazy. Okay, ever since I started following you, I knew, like, you basically just let me know that I was doing the right thing or I was not crazy. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't get with Christianity. I just couldn't. I was the black sheep of the family. Okay, so you came out the blue, and my aunties, like, you came out the blue. I swear, it was so crazy. And I got all these people around me, and they all telling me, like, you worshiping the devil, you know, you going to hell with the wood. And I'm over there just going back and forth. And you just came out the blue. And you were like, hold on. Y'all listen to him. So, you know, so you allowed me to speak. And then my aunt, who is the pastor, she was saying, no. She was reciting Bible scriptures and everything. And then you were like, come here, auntie. And then you whispered something in her ear. And then she came, and then, you know what I'm saying, you let her, you came back. She said, y'all listen to them. Like, they telling us the truth. Y'all listen. And I wanted to ask you, what did you tell her? Like, what did you tell her to make her wake up? Like,
I taught her who Jesus really was.
Wow.
Jesus is Isis.
Wow.
Isis is the queen of heaven and earth.
Wow.
That's the great church secret.
That Jesus is Isis.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to the Greek, untranslated Greek. You get your Strong's Concordance, and you can't mistake it. IESOUS, ISIS.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Everything that you tell us to do, me and my husband, we be on it. Like, I got a whole notebook of stuff that you done taught us. Like, this whole notebook is full of Rye Hayes. This whole notebook, like, I'm not playing. Like,
you got me over here blushing this shit.
I'm serious. Like, I'm not playing no games. How when you first started, Lil, Inky, like, everything, like, you woke us up. Like it's so crazy. Like, give gratitude to you. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna continue to watch you. Just thank you. And then I remember you saying, yeah, I know you got a lot of people. You were saying something about the couple. It's not a couple ritual, but you were saying, no, I got to tell them offline. I can't tell them on IG of what they can do. So, can I inbox you and you tell us how we can entwine?
Look, that was then. This is now. I'm gonna flat out tell you.
Okay.
It's called a sexual asana or position.
Okay.
He had to be sitting down, the woman sit on top, face to face,